thank you for actualizing the dream of many Kenyans, and particularly the ministry, and my own dream to make sure that we have the students converging in the 4 cities of our country for purpose of this training. To start with, I want to say that as a ministry, we are excited to be partnering with the secondary schools and the Ministry of Education to make sure that our students, the top talent that we have in the country, is brought together from different institutions to make sure that they are recognized, but also they are sharpened and their skills are honed, and make sure that each one of them is going to have an opportunity to grow their talent so that we achieve our objective of Talanta Hela. I want to thank these students because of their hard work in the various schools across the country. I am glad to know that nearly 3,000 young people in Mombasa, in Nairobi, in Kisumu and Eldoret in this season for the next 2 weeks, training together in different disciplines. We have football, we have rugby, we have volleyball, we have amputees football, we have chess. I have also seen here, which are the team basketball. And as we continue, even in the next year, we'll make sure that the discipline, and of course we have athletics who are here, and we want to make sure that in the next year, we enhance this by making sure that more disciplines are included, including table tennis and among others, and lawn tennis among others. Our objective, again, is to move away from as a Kenya Academy of Sports, I have requested the Academy to concentrate on growing talent among the young people and leave the older ones who have graduated from this level to move to be managed and grown by the various federations. But at this very young age, we want the Kenya Academy of Sports to concentrate on training and growing the talent, and the tournaments and the competitions that are national in nature that we wanted to do, that we did last year, though good as they may be, we have enough sponsors and we have enough people, we have county governments, we have the federation, they can do the bigger tournaments. But we want the Academy to concentrate on supporting these young talent that are in both secondary school and the primary schools. This is really our focus. And even as we review the Sports Act and the sports policy, we want to make sure that eventually we are clear on the roadmap and the pathways for every sports person here through primary and secondary schools. And we want to see how then, after that level, how the colleges and the universities are going to take over, and the federations as we proceed as a country. We want to be very clear in this policy and law. And therefore, I look forward to the report of the task force that will come to me in the next 2 months, and the eventual report in the next 5 months, because it is now 1 month has elapsed since we established the task force. So within the next 5 months, we should have a report, which is a draft policy, and we should have a legal framework that help guide us. And that task force is multidisciplinary. It includes officials from the sports sector and the leadership at the top level of the sports. I want to encourage the Kenya Secondary School leadership here, Maurice and your team, and I want to encourage also the private school leadership that are here to engage the task force and give your views. And I will also ask the task force to make sure they engage you so that we fashion a policy framework that is going to help us to grow young talent in the country. The other thing I'd like to say here is that we know that this process of identifying teams that are coming to train here was done by Kenya Academy of Sports with the schools, leadership of the sports in high school and secondary schools, in primary schools. I want to request that we also incorporate, as a Kenya Academy of Sports, I give direction that you need to have a proper technology application in terms of sourcing of the talent, so that the process of getting the talented young people is transparent. We want to make sure that it's as transparent as possible and is able to capture all the people we need across the country. We are training 3,000 now. I want us to put the budgetary process in place to make sure that next year we do about 10,000 young people across the country. And that is possible. It is possible because we will create more centers. We can create 10 centers across the country, and we'll make sure that we at least in every center has at least 1,000, so that we have 1,000 young people be going through this process of training. I want also to request the federations, and we need to sit and sign an MOU with the federations, so that they send the scouts and the federation officials in all the camps where we will have, and the talent is identified as early as possible, put in the database as we already have it in the Kenya Academy of Sports, and then when we are selecting teams under 13, under 15, under 17, under 20, the teams for Olympics, and the teams that will play for national teams or the senior teams, they all come through this process of identification of talent. And if we bring ourselves together, you know, the problem why we have this competition is because everybody wants to be seen, that who is going to take the credit. And we can do so much as a country, and we can do so much for our young people if we don't care who takes the credit per se. So we need to come together as Kenya Academy of Sports, the secondary schools, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Sports, as the federations. If we are able to bring all these teams together, we should be able to establish a pathway for our young people in all disciplines that are going to have an opportunity to exercise their talent and make money from that talent, and as they grow. I want also to say that as part of our plans in the ministry and as part of the execution of those plans, Kenya Academy of Sports has been given directions to work with all the coaches across the country and train them in all the schools in our country. As a Kenya Academy of Sports, you don't need to wait for December to train the coaches. That should be ongoing from January all the way, so that you don't have to bring all the disciplines in one place. You can do football in one corner, you can do athletics in another corner, you can do rugby in another corner, so that we are able to do this. We want the coaches to be the center of our delivery in terms of developing talent and growing and developing talent. We cannot do that without the schools. And we want to work with Kenya in the policy that we are developing. We need to create a pathway so that we work with the TSC to make sure that coaches that are producing the best players in the country are promoted on merit based on their training. Some of these coaches are teaching math, some teaching chemistry, some teaching Kiswahili, English, other subjects. But we want them to be promoted by virtue of what they are doing in sports, and sports being recognized especially. That's why Ministry of Education is part of the task force, so that we award our coaches as they should. And also progressively, as we pick national coaches, the federation should look into the teachers that we have. And we can make sure that if a teacher is picked from any school and they are now national coaches, then we work with the federation, with the TSC, and with the trade unions to make sure that those coaches are given leave of absence to concentrate on coaching until the time they can come back to their teaching as we reach. These are the policies that shall be contained in the sports policy that we're going to have, so that our coaches are not just doing coaching as by the way, but is recognized officially by TSC as a very important contribution to the sports sector in the country. The other thing I want to say is that our commitment for inclusive sports is firm and it's on course. You have seen the amputees team, they are training here. You have seen the visually impaired players who are being trained here. As we progress by and by, we make sure that next year we must triple the number of persons who live with disability that are given a chance to train in this process. And we want them to train together with the other teams within the same environment as we see here, so that they are interacting together, because we want to have inclusive growth for our young people who, for one reason or another, are enabled differently by God, that they will achieve their objective in life. And I've seen those who are deaf here, those who are living with different kinds of disabilities, and I'm so impressed that each one of them is pursuing their talent without hindrance because of the support we are giving them by our teachers in the schools, but also now by the Kenya Academy of Sports. And these schools that are enabling students who are differently enabled to have to exercise sports should be given extra support by government. And this is something we should work together with Ministry of Sports to support the schools that have students that are differently able, so that they are given an opportunity to exercise their talent. And I am very, very impressed for this, and we need to make sure that that is improved in the next 1 year. Otherwise, I'm here to, I was here, I saw what you are doing. I am very happy. I was in the field with you, we trained together. I want to, in my next life, when I retire, I should be able also to invest in owning an academy, because so that children can be hanging around myself as they come for training. I want to encourage Kenyans. Especially those of you who have resources. The reason why in developed nations they have the best teams is because those who have been blessed by God to have money are building academies in their countries and giving a chance to children from humble background to come and train in those academies. And eventually they are able to produce very good teams across their nations. I want to request that those people who have money, companies that have resources, banks, telecommunication companies, and various other investment companies that we have in this country. Please, I want to request all of them as part and core part of their community CSR to make sure that they have sports academies of different disciplines and give a chance to young people who are from humble background to train, as we see here, so that they can grow their talent and create resource and make money from the talent that they have.